Come on, mate. We can have a laugh about it.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Well, we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rating Show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. Proudly brought to you by Horizon Finance Group. It is Monday, the 14th of July, 2025. We're here after round 18. Pommy, first of all, hello, mate.
Hey up, how we doing?
Yeah, good. Thought we'd start a little early, hang out with the fam, whoever's left.
Whoever's left, mate. To be fair, views are about the same, aren't they? So,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I could do a club and blame the fans, but I mean, the fans are there.
How's the fucking propaganda weaponizing the fans with the story that wasn't even true?
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy. It's a tough time, though, isn't it? It's a tough time, but I mean, I genuinely think, maybe I'm naive, I think the fans have handled this pretty well, man. Like,
considering.
Like we were talking about it last night. I had the legend MJ from the coaches panel on our Sunday show, and like it keeps confusing me because I look at the ladder and we're 12th, and I'm like, that's not so bad. I mean, it is bad because we were meant to be a top 8 side, but it's not as bad as I feel. But then, like, you break it down and you're like, okay, well, a lot of them wins came from bottom 4 sides. The gap between us and 8th is astronomical. Do you know what I mean? It's nearly double our points total. So it's kind of like condensed, isn't it? It's like kind of condensed that it is really bad. And like I said to MJ, my big fear at the minute is we're so far off. We're just in that second tier at the minute, and we should have been worse bottom first tier. Yeah. So it's kind of a thing, but fans are still here. Like this, I think expectation's good.
No, well, I mean, considering the hope for top 4 start of the year, I mean, we all hope for top 4 every start of the year, but when Brian Cook comes out and affirms it, so hope for top 4, but we'll settle for the bottom half of the 8, and then when top 4 is quickly eliminated, and then top 8 is still alive, and then top 8 is quickly eliminated, and now it's like, oh, actually, everything's broken. We're going okay. Like, as in the fans are, they're going okay. Club turning on fans, telling them that, like, they're sending death threats, and, like, coach got given a Sharon when he was 4 years old. Like, what?
I was born with a Sharon. I mean, I always think the best way to look at any sport is the gap between you and the worst, and you and where you want to be. And it's scary that we are right bang in. We're 20 points off 18th, 20 points off finals.
We are very close to North.
So we are right in the middle.
Yep. I mean,
not great, is it?
And I mean, reality is we've played 2 of the best 3 teams in the comp in the last fortnight, and like the gap is quite large. You know what's fascinating when I watch the replay? How quickly we get punished when we fumble or turn the ball over in the corridor. Like, it's astonishing. It's like we're playing against a good team in Brisbane, like, fair enough. But then it's just like there's this extra force field that's putting the ball through the sticks. It's amazing.
From a coaching point of view, I think you always want your charges, your pupils to be punished as big as possible when they make a mistake, because genuinely that makes you improve better. The worst mistakes are when it's going well and you're trying to convince someone we need to quite change it up a little bit. So, and they're getting the results. Right now, I agree with you. When the one that kills me the most at the minute, and it's something that I mentioned in the watch along last week, is Carlton in the last 4 weeks from a kick-in have set up a false contest down the right-hand side. And then one of them goes in and they go through the corridor. Now, Mitch McGovern is usually the guy who takes this kick. And it's that little dainty one through the corridor. And against Port, it was Fogarty and Motlop with the targets for that kick, which is a bit stupid. You're going airily to 2 guys that aren't the tallest. This week, it was fascinating that Brisbane obviously had really put some research into that. I think 4 times Mitch took the kick in, went to Motlop, and they'd stationed Darcy Wilmot on him. So it was like a boy versus a full-grown man. And it kept backfiring. And sometimes Mitch pulls short of the kick. So, I mean, they are trying to work something out.
Yeah. Tatum's tantrum makes a good point here. What would it take for you? Wait, how does the common man get behind the goals footage?
Someone at the AFL would have to pay you some respect. So, yeah, kiss goodbye to that, mate.
Okay.
Pipe dream.
Do you think that would change the way that you rate the game and look at the game by much?
Yeah. More angles are good. Angles are your friend.
Fair.
Angles are your friend. But are they? Yeah, you got more chance of me recreating the lifestyle of Jesus Christ than the AFL giving me any special favors.
We'll chip away 1 week at a time. All right, shall we? Oh.
Let's get down to business.
Hey,
that's what they could do. Cheer squad, yeah, just someone in the cheer squad just flip a camera up.
Oh, yeah, because we don't have evidence of talking about that on this stream, but yeah.
Help Uncle Pom out.
Yeah.
Do that. Hey, tell you what, I just need 4 friends, one in the home section, one in the away section, and 2 of you at centre wing. And we have got this, baby. We do it ourselves. We take power back.
Yeah. All about it. Well, I really enjoyed stepping away from footy for a bit, just unplugging, only to just plug back in. But I don't know if this one will be as bad as the previous 2. The previous 2 have been pretty bad. But I also don't want to talk too soon.
There we are. Look, we're going to the third umpire, and the third umpire's going, yeah, naive. You just reverse your decision. You're back on screen.
Still hasn't learned his lesson. Stop being optimistic. Just accept everything's bad. All right, let's go. Let's begin this uphill battle. Let's go. We'll start with the vice captain on the day, which was Jacob Wiedering. What happened here?
Jacob Wiedering. So Jacob, we started to see some single-figure digits for the old Jake dog. So genuinely, as a key defender, anything below that 9.5 is a warning sign, because there's 3 positions that AFL player ratings absolutely noshes off. Ruckman are 1. 2 are key defenders. 3 are obviously midfielders, because every rating system froths them. And we can see here some weird things. So Wiedering, this is something that we've started to notice, that 2 sides have found a method to deal with Jacob Wiedering. One is you leave him in the goal square. 2, which is the more common one, which is what Brisbane did, is just avoid targeting him. Avoid kicking wherever he is. And as you can see there, that blank on one-on-ones is he didn't have a contested one-on-one, which is very rare. And that's because they changed where they kicked. With Jacob, disposal to turnover, again, very good user of the ball. But as you can see, massive depreciation because he wasn't there or thereabouts. And I want you to notice the heat map. What they did is they just used a dummy in this. They used a dummy. So they put someone so he had to be on, looked to shepherd him, looked to block him, get into the ball. And in the end, he was the furthest away at times, away from any of the actions. That was a credit to them, but also probably an argument here that you could probably turn Jacob Wiedering into a pure centre-half back. I think this is what the data's telling me this year is put Jack fullback. Jack's pretty good at this. Put him at centre-half back.
Release him a bit.
Yeah. That's what a niche reference. I hate your stinking guts. Great movie. Love Little Rascals.
It's one of the first few times, I think, in his career that I've watched him and felt, oh, it's gotten to him. Just
it is. I think this is one of them ones that I'd love to, I mean, from it, I always think, what would I say if I was his coach? 2 things I would say. We're putting you at centre half back. right? You're gonna have to trust the guys behind you.
Yeah.
And two, I think this is where you've got to impact the game. This is where I'd like Jacob to, don't know if he does, but I'd love it. Like you hear Clarkson in talk about how he had on-field lieutenants and that they could just change the game plan without asking him. This is where I'd like Jacob to have that rule and go, right, okay, Harry, fuck off. You're going to do my job.
Yep.
I'm going to get in the mixer. I'm going to command it. So it's an interesting one with Jakes.
Because we've identified it pretty early in the piece, because he usually doesn't affect him. He usually fights his way through these situations. I mean, unless he's got the corkies that he's battled through, right? Do you think there's irreversible damage being done to some of these players? Like, can he just be refreshed in a preseason with whatever changes come, and then all of a sudden Jacob Wiedering is just fresh again and immune to this happening again?
I mean, it's interesting with Jacob. I mean, you've got to remember Jacob came into this side, 2015 draft, 2016.
Yeah.
The only thing Jacob knows is the trenches, isn't it? Like, apart from 2023, start of 2024, Jacob knows inside 50s against. So I don't think it should phase him too much. I think I would have thought we would have seen this more in the latter 2023, where the ball never went in the inside 50 and you would have forgiven him for switching off. Does feel like it's very hard yakka at the minute for Jacob. So I think it's hard yakka for a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help that the ball is just coming in at the pace that it is. But nonetheless, Jacob scored a 5 for his game. And then we move on to Harry O'Farrell, which immediately when I look at the heat maps here, kind of similar, right?
Yeah, kind of similar. And you see a big note there is obviously them heat maps are showing you where they're retaining the ball. And this is just credit to Brisbane. Brisbane have incredibly deep entries, which allows them to have them short, annoying ones that Zach Bailey and Charlie Cameron take advantage of. But let's have a look at Harry. Harry really did impress me. So early doors, they did target him. He won all of his one-on-one duels. So great from last week where he was hung out to dry. This week, incredible performance that he stepped up. What I do like about him as well, putting a lot of effort into the ground game as well, putting a bit of pressure, not a lot of players peeling off. Big difference between him and Wiedering this week is when the ball did hit the pocket, Wiedering almost stood off. Farrell was straight to it. Really, this was a real good game from Farrell because I think it was easy for him last week where he kept attacking the ball and missing it and getting beaten. This week he came in and said, right, I'm still going to do that. And that's credit to him because that is going to pay him back in the long run. I do want to highlight his intercept possessions this week. That worked. That worked. I thought he was incredible at that he still played in front of his man. That's a positive because we don't want his natural instinct to die.
Isn't it amazing what one moment can do for a player's confidence? So he took his first intercept mark. I think it might have been in the second quarter, in a pack. And he just sort of grew from there.
Yeah, he did well. He did incredibly well. And I think that's the character we're looking for, isn't it? Because hopefully this isn't going to be Harry O'Farrell's career. Yeah. He's not going to be facing this duress all the time. So I think it's very character building of him. Look, if he had a shit game, would I have been complaining? Not at all. Because he's a baby. But I think it was very, very ballsy to go, right, I'm an intercepting player. I play out in front. I'm playing a better side than Bart. I'm going to do it. That's who I am. So credit to him.
Yeah. I mean, I remember his first game or the game against the Giants early in the year, and he sort of got caught ball watching for a moment. So you're just looking for little bits of improvement. I mean, he's not an issue at all. He scored a 6.2. It's not too bad for the young fella, Harry O'Farrell. Then we get to Lockie Cowan, another young fella. What does the data say here?
Oh, the data's frothing the cow dog.
Yeah.
Incredibly incredible. Yeah. And big difference at the minute between him and Adam Sard at the minute when you see them in the back line is that Lockie is producing defense and attack, working incredibly hard, was not afraid to play in that little pocket as they targeted between Charlie Cameron and Logan Morris. He was quite happy to go into the hot zone. When he did lose Jules, he was the first. When the ball went out the back, he was the first to be there. Worked really hard, sometimes tirelessly. Used the ball pretty well as well, put it in dangerous areas, made sure that the ball was moved quickly as well. Really like Lockie Cowan. He's probably one of the few in the last 4 weeks that you're happy to see. I think it's a shame that we didn't see him when we were winning games, but he's coming at the right time because he's making a name for himself.
Yes, there's a maybe because he had some time off with the hammy. But since he's come back into the team, he has, I mean, I don't know what the stats say, but like I feel like he's had 20 touches every game he's been back, 20 or more. Just looks to be playing with some more freedom. What did you make? 2 questions. First one. So signed the extension, right? So at the moment, 20 years old, signed the extension, 32 games, signed the extension until the end of 2028. The natural question is going to come about Tasmania. What was your take on the mechanics of the deal and why 2028 was good or bad?
Well, I mean, look, he's the future of the football club, isn't he? So, I mean, firstly, I've got no issue when you tie up young players with purpose. So what we know about this gentleman here is we know he's going to be there. We know he's going to be a long-term prospect. We know he's going to be built around. If this is the worst we see of Lockie Cowan, he's already in the best 22. So I don't mind that. And I think, lock him away. Tasmania, is that going to be an appeal? It could be. 100% it could be. Would I blame him? Absolutely not. Go home, be around your family, your mum and dad. I don't think people forget, though, that he is a Carlton man.
Mm-hmm.
As well, like it seems to be, blue blood works for us, but evidently home is bigger. I'd say this is a big dream for him. So I'd say that the credit here to the club is you've got till 2028 to be a top 4 side and say, look, you've come this far. You were here when we were bottom 4. Do you want to leave to go back to a bottom 4 just so you can have your mum's gravy on a weekend? Or do you want to stay here and win stuff? So fair. I like Lockie.
I like it too. And I was talking earlier about sometimes it feels like the force field is against us when we turn the ball over. So second goal against of the game, he runs into the umpire. I haven't seen it anywhere. I know that Chera got cited. We'll touch on that shortly. Cowan didn't get cited for his collision with the umpire, as far as I can see, right?
No, because that was the umpire's fault, wasn't it? The umpire ran straight in front of him.
What was your reaction on the watch along when you saw it?
I actually said, can we get the umpire's name and number? Because I have never seen anyone block or shepherd for Carlton. So if he wants to teach these boys how to do that, fuck, we'd be good if we had players doing that. Like, what a block, man. Oh. I want to see that. I'll tell you what, though, fair play to the umpire, because Lockie's a ball of muscle. That will have hurt.
Yeah. Also, do we think this is all just linked to the fact that they've put one extra umpire in the field and that is now causing more congestion? Is it as simple as that? Or am I just crazy?
It could. I mean, there's a lot of people on the ground, isn't there? I'd love to know where them fines go. Do they go to the umpire?
Bro, that's the end of season.
I was going to say.
That's the end of season umpires party, bro.
I was going to say, there seems to be an awful lot of contact. But dubious. I don't think you can be cited for accidentally bumping into an umpire. I understand if you were punching him or hurting the umpire, but I think nature of the beast. But if that is the Christmas party piss up, Jesus, what a scam.
Mate, the umpires are going from, instead of having it at CQ, they're going to like pretty much Vegas for their end of year party. So
having a Vegas party, bro.
Yeah. All right, 6.4 for Lockie Cowan. Then we move over to Nick Haynes. He was in the wars in this game. He copped a bit.
Yeah, nearly got knocked out. Everyone just looked at him.
What's that about?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. You tell me.
Would it hurt a teammate to get behind a teammate that's not a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old in Carroll or Hollands?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a shame. And like from a game point of view, it definitely did affect him because we saw him be a little bit more placid, whether he was feeling the after effects of that. I think partly as well, it was Carlton were getting absolutely peppered in the second and third, so they had to drop back. We didn't see that usual ball movement and attacking flair and nuance from Nick Kane. So you can see the little things that we expect, the intercept marks, which we've been heavily praising for, work there this week. The pressure acts, he was another one that really did stand off with the indecision of what Brisbane do. Brisbane change what they do quite a bit. They're one of the more harder teams to defend against. You could see he was kind of a victim of that. Do I close down and get caught out the back, or do I stand my ground and make him do the amazing? And he was kind of a bit like Wheaton in this game. I'm looking, this has probably been harsh on Nick. I'm looking for close to perfection. You've played this game for a long time.
Yeah. Well, he got a 5 for his game. I was really disturbed by the lack of care. Maybe it's because he yelled at them last week, told them to pull their socks up, and they don't like being yelled at.
Maybe it was a message.
Maybe. Oliver Hollands, 1.8 AFL rating. I'm not surprised at that.
Fascinating one again from him. And it feels like all of them but Harry at the minute have had some real big positives and then some real big negatives that bring them back down.
Yeah.
Fascinating this week that a lot of pressure acts, as we expect, we're at the AFL norm for pressure acts, which I don't think you'll ever see Ollie be below that, but no tackles. And it was weird. He seemed to get in range to make the tackle. Never. He felt like he was like, it felt like he had no fifth gear this week, is the best way I could describe it. It felt like he got there, he just couldn't execute. And quite a lot of these loose tackles from Ollie as well, where players have just bounced off him. Some positive signs, the meters gained per touch, the rebounds, that's starting to come into the right area. But again, this is my issue with Carlton's halfback line. There is not enough score generation from them. And it's something that I always say. You look at our back six and think as an opposition player, might be a nightmare to break because they're going to defend, but I don't see anything coming back. So back to your point, Carlton get punished a lot. Yeah. I'd say that's because they've got one or two halfbacks that really hurt you. Carlton's, do they? I feel like Carlton's are just okay halfbacks. You don't have that halfback there that you see his name and you go, oh, Jesus, if he gets 30 touches, GG's. And that was a bit of Ollie's game this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he tries. I was quite surprised to see his disposal efficiency at above 80%. Maybe the mistakes just stick out more. I don't know.
You got to remember a lot of Ollie's kicks, though, are them kicks down to the pack. So that counts as 100% disposal efficiency.
Right. Right.
So, like, it's one of them annoying things that if that hits the target and it goes over a certain distance, it's like,
yeah.
But it could be a complete kibosh kick. So that's why he kind of gets away with it. So you are correct. Sometimes he's kicking. My issue with Ollie is I'd like to see him use the hands a bit. He has sometimes some short options, and it feels like he's really reading the playbook.
Yeah.
Of do this, be a bit more creative. But yeah, works hard. Cool.
5.1 for Ollie as we start to see the Reds pile up. And then we get to Matt Carroll. Didn't he have a game?
Well, he's Harry O'Farrell of this game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, in the moment, I was so pissed with him because he literally did a repeat of the first holding the ball. And I was beside myself angry. As the dust settles and I have a breather, I do ask myself the question, when you've made such an egregious error, how can you as a leader allow that to happen?
Yeah.
Like to have him in the same position identically and not communicate. And what's a shame about Matt Carroll is this was probably his best game from a having the ball situation. Intercept possessions really strong. Was one of the only players that won the ball on the ground in the back line. At the moment, outside of the tolls, he's the only one who sees a ground ball and doesn't think it's a live hand grenade. But then mistakes kill you, and that happens. And this is again now, I'm going to be looking at Matt Carroll this week against Melbourne. He's probably going to see Keziah Pickett how does he respond? Because if I'm Keziah Pickett, I've watched that tape and gone, you know what? I can do this, kid.
His teammates won't talk to him. His coaches won't bring him off the field. So it happened a little earlier in the season. I'm going to say I can't remember which game it was. It was the game just before he got dropped the last time, I think. And I just, in the moment, I mean, teammates, sure. Okay, so level 1, Matt Carroll, be a bit more alert. You're out there. You've played a good chunk of games now. You should know when to get rid of that ball. Layer number 2, teammates, leaders, Wiedering, what are you doing? Talk to him. Doc was around there, didn't talk. And then the third layer was the one where I landed on while I was sitting there was, okay, the first one happens. And I was sitting right on top of the bench, and I was like, bring him off, take him off. Just make sure you just settle him, because it's happened before in the season. It's just settle him down and get him back out there. And the worst thing that could have happened was the ball goes back into D50 and it happens again, and it happened again. So I don't know. Somewhere in between all three of those is what the right thing to do would have been.
Well, when communication ceases, I always think that the number one communication break is selfishness.
Right.
And it depends how you view selfishness. Is it a good or a bad thing? I think it's selfishness in the sense of, fuck, this game's hard. I've got to concentrate, so I'm going to focus on me. Where I think if you're playing well in a normal way, you would be like, Matty, it's okay, mate. You get to back pocket. Carroll, you come up. If that ball comes in again quickly, Carroll will hide you. We'll protect you a little bit, mate. Yeah. It's fascinating because the first instance and the second instance, the same people are around him.
Yeah.
And it makes you think, okay, first one, I'll forgive you. Maybe it happened so quickly, but you should be aware that it might happen again. And it happened almost the next passage of play. And the fact that all of them are around there. And the bit that killed me was the first person to get around him was Jesse Motloff. And he did that secret handshake. And I'm like, is this how bad we are now? We use the secret handshake when we haven't kicked a goal. It was a tough one for Matt. I don't want to pound too much shit on him, but them kind of things are career ruiners because that's a stigma.
Is it fair to say he's playing instead of Boyd?
Well, I don't even talk about Boyd. He's not coming in, is he? Voss picked him all the time the last couple of years, sometimes probably against his better judgment. And I don't know what's happened with Jordan Boyd, but Jordan Boyd is not up for selection, is he?
Yeah. I mean, I went to the VFL on Friday afternoon, and I'm not sure what everyone else is watching when they say just bring in all these kids. I didn't see one. Maybe Harry Charlson, maybe. But
there was a good picture of you watching it.
Yeah, there was. I got busted. Anyway, we'll touch on that a little later. But 4.5 for Matt Carroll. As we move along to Mitch McGovern, I think he has hamstring awareness. We'll find out tomorrow night. But
it's good to know that he has a hamstring. That's good.
He's aware that he has a hamstring.
This is where AFL ratings and me have fallouts, because AFL ratings froth some stuff, and one of the things that they froth is the meters gained stat. So I agree, you've got to froth that, because that's an important part of football. Getting the ball away, it sets you up on attack. My issue with Carlton at the minute is we see a lot of these players do this. They have some meters gained. They're getting the ball away. Problem is nothing happens with it. It's great having the start, but if I'm not seeing any score involvement, score launches, something happening with the ball, you might as well just kick it 5 meters every time and we retain possession. And this was the thing, outside of that little spurt forward, which I thought was quite good. Once we moved him back, I don't quite understand this obsession with being so medium-sized down the back.
Yeah.
Because it's not working.
Is this just because Sauce isn't in the back line?
It could be. But then I'd say if you've got Harry O'Farrell there, Harry O'Farrell is sauce at the minute.
True.
I'm not a fan. I think if everyone else is doing something and you're not, you might be a genius. But then you've got to look at the results. If the results are good, yeah, maybe you are the genius. If they're not, and you're doing everything that everyone else isn't, that means you're an idiot. And I think at the minute, our backline makeup falls into that latter category, idiotic.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Mitch one of those players that has a games trigger clause in his contract?
Yeah, rumours are. Yes, there it is.
So, as in he could still be with us next year?
Yeah, the rumours that were going around, look, this is just speculation, but I mean, usually the speculation with this football club is usually spot on, but evidently someone wrote into his contract 12 games.
12? Okay. 4.6. He seems unsettled, and it's fair because he's like 1 week is a forward, 1 week is a defender. Did the preseason in defense, swung forward. What's he going to do? What's he going to be?
I don't know. I mean, look, I like Mitch. Fair play to him. I like him. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, they're all nice guys. All of them.
That's my problem. I'm thinking with this, would it be not better to give Harry O'Farrell less aerial support and more small support? Would be my mindset here. That okay. I think the most damaging line of our team this year isn't small forwards. It's the ability to move the ball quickly from the back half of the ground. So like when everyone was jerking off, Carlton are one of the hardest teams to score against. It's not that hard when you flood your small forwards back and you flood the back line. Any idiot can defend that. But you look at all the top teams, the ball goes quick from that back line. You win it back. Carlton had one of the top intercepting sides in the league, one of the lowest scoring from the back half of the ground. So for me, the most simple fix is, can we maximize that? Can we turn them intercept possessions into points? And I don't see how it works with Mitch and Nick and two key forwards. I mean, defenders.
We'll find out tomorrow night what his status is, but 4.6. Then we get to Alex Cincotta. Wow, AFL rated him a negative.
Yeah, I mean, it happens when you don't get the ball. So you've got to say this. Had the thankless task on Hugh McCluggage. Hugh McCluggage's first goal. We're talking about Shepherds. Can I give a huge shout out to TDK, who put probably one of the best Shepherds I've ever seen on our tagger that I have ever seen. And what was kind of worrying about this is I've watched quite a lot of the stoppage. And one thing that was really obvious this week is both Pitternet and TDK did it. They didn't look to compete in the duel. So it was obvious that something has been said in the coaching manual this week of let's try and stop them getting to the ball. So that's quite normal. You Fremantle play that with Darcy a bit. Fascinating, though, that when you are tagging, that is a team game as well. If Cincotta is taken out of the game, someone else happens. So if you go back and watch that McCluggage goal, it's fascinating. TDK stands and then walks towards Cincotta, who frantically sees McCluggage use that decoy to go behind the two ruckmen. So he clatters into TDK, but then Chera and Hewitt are looking at each other as Neil, McCluggage and Dunkley all cross them. And it's like they're just looking, going, well, that's not my guy. yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like they're looking at each other, you know what I mean? And so, I mean, look, I don't like it. Look, full caveat, I hate the tag. It's pointless. When the way we're using the tag at the minute is to purely negate an opposition player, and that tagger have nothing. That's mindless to me. Mindless tactics. Let's have a look at where he did go well. Tackling was one of the leading tacklers on the ground of our team. 6 tackles, very good. He was there and that. handball receives, this is the one here where you see the good teams that play a negating role versus the bad ones. These handball receives are used to victimize the guy being tagged. So genuinely a player that is being tagged is shit at defending. McCluggage ain't a great defender. This is where you maybe fight fire with fire and you look to score, right, you're going to be stopping him get to the stoppage. Let's give the ball to you as well. Make McCluggage change his game a little bit. And I thought the way that we set up, the way we executed this as a team, made McCluggage probably go, well, this is an easy game.
Yeah. 3.8 for Chincotta. Let's move along. Patrick Cripps, the skipper. He's gone back to his original heat maps.
Old school Cripps.
Yeah.
Give me that old school love life now. So a massive contested piece from Cripper.
Piece?
Again.
You just piece up? Let the record show that's the first time you succumbed to the word peace.
Yeah, and so there we are. Look, and some little things that worry me though about this game from Cripper is that handball receives. He's getting the ball in these dangerous areas. The next level here, and what this is screaming out for, and I want people to go back. Someone the other day said to me, next year, Pod, we change the midfield makeup, Cripper Brownlow. And I was like, if Cripper wins the Brownlow next year, the midfield is worse than it is now. 2023, Cripper finished quite low down. 20 Brownlow votes was still quite high up, but wasn't as dominant. And that was because he was giving these handball receives off. These hit out gathers that he's received, they were going off. They were going off to someone. And right now, this week, you go back and watch a lot of Cripps' possessions. He's got the ball. No one's running on. No, everyone's protecting that Dunkley run, protecting that Neil run. They're not going with him. So that's where Cripps wins Brownlow votes, because he looks from the eye the most dominant force. But to use Cripps to the best of his God-given abilities, people need to get with him, work off Cripps. And this week here, I thought Cripps was fantastic, definitely lacking support.
Yeah. Well, he got a 7. That's a pretty solid score, considering the state of the team at the moment. Then we get to Zach Williams. This guy, I don't know see what his rating is. He's found something in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, working quite hard. And what was a welcome release is there's 2 starter points here that should panic you. Definitely, with the limited amount of times he received the ball in the clearance, he makes something happen. But to see his handball receives as one of the least from players that played midfield time this week worries me. Like, it worries me. He only had 1 more handball receive in the midfield than Jesse Motlop.
What?
and this is what scares me. This is where, ideally, if you were giving them half of the handball receives to Cripps went to Williams, I reckon you've got something different happening. If Cripps is making that space, hitting Z-Will out in space, that is it. And it just feels like, I agree with you, he's there. The problem we're having now is he's not getting the ball enough.
Yeah.
And we've got to target him. He can't be the Cripps Hewitt Chera, play hot potato and boost their super coach scores. It has to be that hard work them 3 do. If we're playing them 3, someone other than them has got to have 25 plus. I don't care who it is, but someone has to do it. And Z-Will is him.
He's not playing for a contract, right? He is contracted for next year as well.
He is, yeah.
So it's not like he's, you can sort of see if there's a guy that's out of contract playing for his life. He's just playing like it's for his life, even though he's got security for next year. I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty handsome contract. So, it's the expectation. But he's one that doesn't seem to be getting to him. He seems to still be giving it his all.
Yeah, and he's fascinating because you look at someone who had the same amount of mid-time, Will Ashcroft, received the ball 12 times. Williams 4. But per touch, both of them executed similar outcomes. from that position. So this is where you've got to change that makeup up, particularly when Pitternet's playing. There's probably a good argument that you can't play both Hewitt and Cripps because Pitternet becomes that big behemoth. It's got to do something. So for me, the money he's on, I want to see Zach in the midfield. And I'd love the next 4 weeks, should his hammy be okay, because I do believe he had a little bit of a twinge at the end.
Him as well?
Yeah, I believe that came up on the injury report, didn't it? Well, post game, they said that he had a little bit of a soreness, I believe they said, post game.
Okay. All right. Well, scrap whatever I just said.
But I do feel like if he's playing, I'd like to see them say, right, we're going to give you it 30 times. I mean, 44% of the time being on the ball.
Yeah.
Got to target him.
Fair. 5.6 for Zachy Boy. Then we get to Adam Chera. This looks like a different role altogether.
Yeah, so they tried to play him loose. So the first quarter, they played him at halfback, and I can say it might be the worst quarter I've ever seen of a footballer. Like, it was horrendous. We can officially say he's forgotten playing halfback for Fremantle. We can officially say he's forgotten. This one is really fascinating because, again, once he went back into the midfield, this guy was just targeted purely from them work from Hewitt and Cripps, and it didn't work. It didn't work. There wasn't enough momentum forward. And this is the same thing now. Ollie Hollands, Lockie Cowan to a lesser extent, Adam Chera 100%. You're getting the ball. You're not doing anything with it. It's all well and good having it. It's got to be going into the right areas. And for Adam Chera, a man that is heavily billed, got a lot of stability with his contract, you're getting a big role here. And I don't feel like I love Adam Chera, but it's not great. It's not the level I would perceive. It's meh at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm expecting very good.
Yep. Got to be a pro. Yeah. He's got his body right. He's just dipping at the moment. 4.5 for Adam Chera. Right. George Hewitt next up. Wow, 17.8 rating. I think he might have been in the top 5 rated players in the comp this week from memory.
Yeah, so this is where people get a little bit flawed. I see a lot of posts about the AFL rating, and it annoys me. There's a few cheat codes that you can do. One of them is winning a lot of contested ball.
Okay.
It's a cheat code. And look, again, this is the other thing. My big issue with Carlton Football Club at the minute is you look at the handball received, the players that have received the ball, the top of the ground this week, Chera, Ashcroft, Rayner, Zorko, Neil, Hewitt. It's like spot the odd ones out.
Yep.
Hewitt, I would not be expecting to get the ball on the outside on the overlap, but he does what he does. And this is what I'm loving about George Hewitt. If George Hewitt had 2 players to do something with his hard work, we probably wouldn't notice George Hewitt. That's the beautiful thing about it. You wouldn't notice him. And at the minute, it's really obvious. He wins his ball. He gets the ball. He gives it off to players. He's another one who would be dying for some overlap run, dying for someone to be in and around with it. So it's a shame because he's obviously executing. He's got no one to do it, though. George Hewitt ain't going to do it. And at the minute, statistically, he is our most attacking threat from the midfield. Let that sink in.
Mate, the amount of times I see, 5+ score involvements, this week it was 8. It's just not what I would guess George Hewitt's game to be. Like, he's doing the contested work and he's creating opportunities as well.
Yeah, and you look on the other end, Hugh McCluggage, Bailey, Zorko, Dunkley, Rayner, Cameron, leading score involvement guys there. Like, it's really what we name there, exciting guys. No offense to George. George is Magnolia Paint. He's Nick Newman 2.0, just consistent. Yep. We want him winning the ball. Someone needs to provide. So this here, it feels like for me, someone should be benefiting from this. So if you've got Zach Williams there, the mandate to Hewitt and Cripps should be handball to Williams all costs every time. And it's not happening at the minute. But George did what George had to do.
No,
I liked
mate.
his game.
Love George. Love the way he plays the game. 6.8. Good stuff. Jesse Motlop. Was this his best midfield game of the year?
It was 100%. And this lies the problem.
Yeah.
So 1,000% by a country mile on every rewatch. Brilliant. Loved it. Like Jesse versus Jesse, 10 out of 10. This was it. But again, the big problem at the minute when I'm watching Jesse, why?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. And what's scary is it just feels like I mentioned this to Danny, you know, Danny Azar, who comes on here. We had a conversation on the phone the other day about this, and we were talking. I was saying, if you watch Jesse, you have moved him into the midfield when I don't even think he is an apprentice small forward yet.
Yeah, he hasn't mastered it yet.
Yeah, where everyone else mentions, oh, well, people. I saw a tweet the other day and someone said, those criticising Voss for moving Motlop, explain to me why Rankin, Gearan, and Pickett are small forwards excelling in the midfield. And I'm like, well, the difference between all three of them is that they're shit hot small forwards. They are already the creme de la creme of the position they were drafted in. So they've added the second layer. And what did you get from Motlop? Big one that I can tell you was the loose ball gets. So obviously Voss, I might have worked it out. When that ball goes loose, all of our guys, Cripper and Hewitt, are kind of like, that's not a contested. I'm not too sure what to do here. Where Jesse's like, loose ball. So maybe that's what it is. The problem is the two things I've got an issue with Jesse Motlop is he might be the only small forward I've ever witnessed who's not quick.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is you watch him, he's got the acceleration of a HGV truck. It seems to take him about 10 minutes for him to even look like he ain't built 210 centimeters, 200 kgs. Once he hits top speed, he's quite good. But the problem is it takes him a while. So that's why in the small forward area, he's quite evasive. He's got that ability just to pivot and act quick. In the midfield, you ain't got that time. And it was fascinating. There was about 4 stoppages where Dunkley lined up on him. And I felt sorry for him because Dunkley ate him up like he was a Big Mac at 3 a.m. on the piss.
Well, yeah. Especially with Fantasia, who looks like he's going to be out again. I wonder how they'll rejig this. I think that might be it for Fantasia too, for the year, the hammy.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So a 5.3 for Jesse Motlop. Sam Doherty. I said this last week, I think. I just find it really sad watching him play.
This one here blags my titteroos, this one.
Okay.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And this is no knock on Doc, but if you were telling me that we've got to play the experienced Pommy, look what happens if you play the kids. Okay, cool. But is Doc helping that? Like, I don't see Doc. Doc, for me, looks like a guy that is in the last year of his contract, about to be delisted, and he's 25 years old. There seems to be nerves and panic written all over him, and he's very intrusive with it. He's kicking this week, barbaric. That being half off AFL average for your efficiency with your foot, dangerous. When you're getting over the uncontested possessions, and for that metric to be poor, I have a rule. If I was a coach and you presented me my data, if you were AFL above uncontested possessions and weren't AFL average for kicking and distance gained, you wouldn't play next week, because that we're getting the ball in an area for you to be sexy. Very limited score involvements, very limited getting the ball into the forward half of the ground. The meters gained per disposal, very impressive. But again, see what I said about Cherrett and co. Absolutely nothing happening from it. No marks, not enough marks when you're playing that loose on the outside. And scary for me.
I just don't like this whole situation. I mean, we shaved our heads for him as a community, right? And really got behind him as the human being. I think everyone is behind him as a human being, but the football performances just keep stacking up. Like, how do they flip this around? I think I said to you last week, I don't know if it was on this show or the Blue or Broad show, just give him a game. That's his final game, and let us just have that closure. And then he can go out on the high and like, fuck it, just put it all in for one more game. Like, I don't think this is good for anyone. I don't like watching him and moaning when he turns the ball over, or if he's not quick enough, or if he's just not desperate enough. And or is this just he's going to be there next year and he just needs a refresh like a lot of them do?
He wants to be there next year, which is going to be interesting. I mean, to be honest, Terry, if you're playing an older player, you're playing it for its leadership capabilities and you're playing it for a standard. And all honesty, he replaced Chera at halfback. Then he played out on the wing. Nowhere near good enough. So it's got to be the standard. It's got to be the minimum expectation. And as much as I love Doc, I've got to this is where I can't question Voss, because Voss doesn't kick for them, doesn't effort for them. Yes, he is incredibly responsible for how they set up and the motivation aspect. But what worries me about Doc at the minute is this is obviously Voss saying to me, I have faith. The judgment at the minute on playing Doc says to me his level to judge is shocking, because he's putting trust into this guy. You don't have to pick him.
So, okay. Options. Number one would be Akers, right? Number two would be...
Akers, spot on. Good call.
Number two would be Billy Wilson, who, I mean, with all due respect to Billy, I went to the VFL and they played against the Brisbane VFL team who had, I think, 17 or 18 AFL listed players. Billy had a good game, relatively. Kicked the first goal of the game. That was a nice passage of play and a nice highlight. But some of the ball skill errors by foot from Billy, like if it was the AFL, he'd get gobbled up. So I watched it and I was like, oh shit, I don't know if Billy's quite ready either, but like he's also young and it's like rock in a hard place. What is the alternative here? Boyd?
No, I mean, well, look, I mean, let's be honest. One thing we know this year is we're not scared of reinventing the wheel. So
Charlie, let's go.
What scares me at this situation, right? I'll say this till the cows come home. Blake Acres is presumably in the side because he's bigger than the average bear. Carlton froth the wing kick. He's probably the only guy who has got the endurance to run the wing and take a mark. So I'd say if Voss played Cowan in spurts on the wing, I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. You've got a wide player. So why can't we do that, Terry, with Sam Doherty? Why can't we say, right, let's have a look at trying to move this role? Let's just say he doesn't trust Lucas Camporelli. Let's say, can we trust this role? You've made Fantasia a winger this year, and we're going to talk about him in a minute, but he played more of the Akers role. Why can't you trust him? You've got Ollie Hollands, who was a natural winger. So why do you just simply move him back? Because what's going to happen next year when Newman comes back? I presume he takes Ollie Hollands' spot. So that would say to me, we've wasted a year teaching him halfback when he's not playing it. I think there's a lot of options here. I feel like the wing is a dying option. And the problem is we're not actually trying to get that right when we've drafted two wingers. Now, do I think Jackson Binns is AFL standard and an AFL elite? Probably not, right? But I'd rather us be having this conversation that Jackson Binns has had a 3.8, not a 30-year-old guy that should have played 300 games, hadn't been cut short because of injury and cancer.
Fair.
I'd rather be saying that about Binns because at least it's going somewhere. For me, Jack, whoever you play here right now with a 3.6, if that's a senior player, I'd rather us be laying into a kid right now because he might get better. no offense to Doherty, I don't think he's going to get better.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair.
And with nothing to play for now, do I think Lucas Camporelli up against Melbourne, going up against Lindsay and Ed Langdon is a good idea? Absolutely fucking not. But at least he's learning. At least he's going in there. And these are potentially in the right system with the right people around him, the lessons that will pay him back in 5 years' time. We can look back next week and he has a 3.6, which Doc will have a 3.6 next week on consistency. But at least it's a lesson we can look back and go, do you remember the time Ed Langdon had 34 touches and killed Lucas Camporelli in game 2 of his career and then became a 300 gamer? That's where you've got to look at it at that situation, I think.
You know what this is reminding me of? The end of Simo's last year. They'll announce the final game and the group will absolutely not rise to the occasion for his final game.
Is what it is, but
is what it is.
I hate to be that guy. I'm not sentimental.
No, we can't afford to be
I'm in the business to win. So, for me now, yes, are the VFL boys ready? Some of them definitely not. But also, I think everyone in chat would agree with me. You want 5-6 players to come into this side? I'm going to give you a news flash. You ain't got the picks and the collateral, right? And if you do trade players out, someone's got to step in. So that could be 7-8 players if you trade them out. So we've got to hope that fixes in that list. Right. So I don't think there is such thing as too soon. Okay. If I was Nick Austin, I'd want to see Lucas Camporelli on the wing for 6 weeks. And let's just see how fucking bad it is.
Yeah.
How bad is
3.6 for Doc. Let's move along. Orazio, who really thought he was starting to find something, and then the hammy just goes.
The best player on the ground before he got injured for us. You know what? That great mate of mine texts me at halftime and goes, I don't even need to watch the ratings. I know it's bad because Pitternet and Fantasia by the eye are probably 2 of our most impactful players. And he was like, I spend my life on Twitter saying delist them. And I was like, that turns me on a little bit. I did, because I was like, good synopsis. Fantasia, the attacking winger. Why does it work? Why does it work at times? Well, I'll tell you why it works. Because every time Orazio gets the ball, the only thing Orazio knows is get the ball into the mix and get it into a dangerous area. Yeah. And that's why deceptively by eye, it's good. But we are going to be talking about a guy that has played on the wing in a very easy game for a winger because the ball lived in contest when Carlton had the ball. So genuinely we'd see high score lines for him. And that's the problem. He gets the ball when he puts it in a dangerous area. Does it work? No, not all the time. But he's doing the bare fundamentals of being a winger. Get the ball, get it into some danger zone for the Blues. And that's all he did. Basics.
6.1.
Pretty impressive.
Is he contracted for next year?
No.
Do you think he will be at the club next year?
For me, no, because it's the easiest thing in the world. Like, we're seeing first-year wingers kill it every year. It's probably the second easiest position in the AFL to debut at, because all you've got to do is run, which ain't that hard. If you're born with an engine, you've got an engine. Outside of that, just get the ball into the hot zone, which, again, ain't hard. Any idiot could do it.
It was interesting. It was interesting watching him when he went off the ground. He gave a few fans high fives, and I just had a moment where I thought, don't know if that's the last time we see you, but we'll see.
I like Razzle Dazzle though. There's something about him. I don't know what it is.
Oh mate, I'll tell you what. There's something about Mark Pitternet.
There's something about Mary. So this here is we saw the difference in Ruckman of just being methodical. So it was a real shame here because this is where I felt if I was Graham Wright in this, I would have been scratching my head going, right, okay, you've got Pitternet, you've got Hewitt, and you've got Cripps. So they're winning the dirty ball. They're winning dirty ball. why the fuck is no one maximizing this? Because they do their job, and there was passages of play where it was these three winning the ball, and it was going nowhere fast, but it was efficient. It was effective. Yeah. It was effective. It needs them people around. Great goal, but this is like basement level ruck service. He was good at his ruck part.
Yeah.
This is where you need to put people around him with a little bit of sleight of speed, a little bit of leg speed. Maximize it. Maximize it. I don't care who that is. Is that Ollie Hollands running like a mad hatter through there? Zach Williams. Put someone around it, because otherwise you're just winning ball and you're putting more pressure on yourself because it's not moving.
Well, he gets his hand to the ball enough. He taps the ball to advantage at a reasonable slash enough rate. He creates space. He does kind of what he needs to do fundamentally as a ruck. Like, yep, it would be good if he took 4 marks a game. He was robbed of a mark early in the game. Yeah. Do you think if Tom goes, we still need to recruit another ruck and this guy stays as like a backup?
I don't think he can, Terry, honestly, list management wise. I don't think
you can what?
Recruit another one, because people are saying bring Riley O'Brien in, ring Darcy in. They have incredibly nimble players in and around him.
Right.
So TDK works because Carlton have a refusal to accept contested football's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And it is dead. It's completely died. Except it's gone. It's not coming back. Thank God. Because who cares? Lifting heavy weights and can't do maths. Couldn't think of anything worse. The game's got into an articulate, sexy era. So Pitternack has a place, but this would be a perfect opportunity now to add that coup de grace in the midfield. You've got Hudson O'Keefe, who, thank Christ, can play forward and ruck. So you've got that backup ruck forward option if you want to play Mark Pitternack's full time. Brilliant. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Just add some nimble players. Ain't that hard? Everyone's quick nowadays in the draft.
We lined up for his goal, end of the first quarter. My sister, she got out her phone, she filmed it, and I said to her, like, you know, you're going to be deleting this video as soon as he kicks this ball. Like, full hating on him. It was a full hate watch. And even when I watched the replay, it's sad to say this, but like, I don't remember too many more moments this year where like the magic of football happens and the unbelievable happens. Like, he literally has given, like, the highlight of 2025 will be Mark Pitterneck's torpedo goal, I think.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, man, it's like dating. The bar just like continues to drop.
You know, one thing I'll say about Pitternack is watching Pitternack, Hewitt and Cripps work this week, the amount of space that Pitternack blocks for.
Yep.
I couldn't think of an easiest job in the world than being Carlton's list manager next year. Because when people are going, let's get Harley Reid and completely fuck our cap and our future up because we've got a tasty player, all you've got to do is get nimble, half-decent ball skill players with a bit of pace, and you've got 3 behemoths to protect them. I couldn't think of an easier job, because all you've got to do in the draft this year is talent recruit the skills you desperately lose. So what are they? Speed, and the guy treat the football as if it's a football, not a hand grenade. You're okay. Because these guys are going to be able to protect you, Like, I couldn't think of a better gig in the world than being an undersized mid. I was watching Gresham play this week, and I was like, you know what? Guy's built like a twig. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be really hard getting to him if you played him in spurts with Mr. Cripps, Hewitt, and Pitternack. Good luck getting to him, because the guy is quick. So, real easy job. Nick Austin may have the easiest job of all time this year.
How do we just
I can't tell you how easy it is. It's actually laughable how easy it is.
How do we just get Jake Rogers? How do we do it?
You see, I think that's the problem. When you're going with, like, people talk, can we get people on free agency? The people you'll get on free agency when you've got not much to offer are Francis Evans, but he might have a different coloured hair. I think the problem is with Carlton is we've gone out and bought players that most people actually just are competent and recruit.
Right.
So for me, let's stop buying players and let's target the draft. And people keep saying the draft is downplayed. People are stupid. People are stupid. The draft isn't rubbish. The draft is a low talent pool from a superstar compatibility. We don't need superstars. What we need right now is PODs, because evidently for the last 20 years we've recruited the same guy, had a real nonchalant approach to taking a risk in the draft, and it's bit us in the arse. We've got the wonderful privilege this year of I can have someone who's not physically strong because every player I've got on my list is physical.
Interesting.
Like, it would be brilliant.
Rambo, we need cake, not ice cream in this draft.
Spot on, Rambo. Yes. I don't want any. I want the sprinkles on it at the minute, right? Do you know what I mean? I want the sprinkles because I've already built it. I've already built the hard bit to build. Now I just need some fucker to eat it. That's where our list is. I need some fucker to eat it. Got the guys that make it. Now I need customers. Buy customers. It's easy.
I like it. 6.5 for Pito. Let's push along Lockie Fogarty.
And this is another thing that I hate. I hate. We seem to have every small forward. We seem to have this obsession with defensive numbers, and it is scary.
Yeah.
That we've got players on our list that probably think defense is a place in Greece, right? But the guys we're playing are the players that are defensive. And no offense, no one cares about defense anymore. No one does. And you look at the top teams at the minute, they have almost got like a pass score in mind. If you get 80, I can kick 100. So as long as we can negate you to around 80, we're okay. Cowan seem to have this theory of, can we keep you to 40 at all costs? And Fogarty's case in point at the minute, you look at someone like Brad Close that plays the similar role. He's third in the AFL in goal assists. Fogarty doesn't create that for us. Like, Fogarty is either incredibly good defensively or meh defensively and produces something offensively in them times. This is a weird one, this for me, because when you've got Motlop playing so deep, he's playing deep. And then he turns into Mickey Gibbons and he slots in at full forward while Curdo works up the ground. Make it stop, Robbie.
Yeah. Had to go back and take his shot on goal. I don't know if it would have made a difference, but it just deflates everything.
They're the big ones, though, Taz, because if you're missing the simple stuff because you work so damn fucking hard to move the ball, it kicks you in the dick, doesn't it? Yeah. No wonder Luke Sayers was short, shrivelly to the left if he's watching this. I can feel me lose inches as well.
3.6 for Fog. Then we get to Dirds. What does the data say about Dirds?
Well, I mean, firstly, I'm going to defend the small forwards. You look at the top small forwards in the league, they're having the privilege of playing with a team that has a similar profile to Carlton with quick, long, quick ball movement. And you saw that stat the other day. Carlton were like third in ball movement speed.
Yeah.
What Dan Hoyne failed to tell you is it's the production of that speed and where that is. And Carlton don't get the ball in there quick enough. So there's loads of times I was watching this really intently. The ball gets to midfield and it almost stops. And in that period of stopping, they get to flood their D50. Where you watch GWS, Brisbane, it bypasses the midfield as quickly as possible. Jamie Elliott is the cheat code for Carlton to watch next year because they play a big guy forward and Jamie Elliott's the extra. And the amount of times that poor big guy's got to chase the small guy, it's insane. He's got no hope. We're giving Durden this job when they've had a chance to move their halfbacks back on, and they're now playing out in front of him. And it's both of them, Fogarty, Motlop, Durden. One of them's got to have that job of just fuck defense. No one cares. I don't. And look, no defense if numbers from Dirds this week. He was just there. I feel sorry for him. It's not helping anyone, this.
No. He was the only one that kicked the goal out of them as well. 4.9. Then we saw Ashton. I mean, he had a few shots on goal. He had 3, I think it was. 3 behind. 4 shots on goal.
You know what? This is one of them games where, from a data point of view, there was a bit of positivity,
right,
from Ashton in the terms of he had it. He was in the right areas, and this game was horrific for a forward.
Yeah,
for a forward, he wouldn't have wanted it. He wouldn't have wanted this position at all. But for a guy that's taller than everyone else to have more ground balls than everyone else is a bit of a disgrace, crumbing off the marks. That's a worry. He had more tackles inside 50 as the medium-sized player than his small forward brigade, which is a little bit of a worry. Marks inside 50. He had key forward metrics, which is again a bit of a worry. And he found the ball quite well, and he got the ball inside 50 as well when he played up on the wing. So this is a real fascinating one with Ashton Boyer, that this game could have been a 9 or a 10. 2 of them go through. We're talking about a 7.5. I was assured, because this game here, he's built for the modern day fast movement. He ain't built for this slow. He, for me, was the pick of the forward half of the ground by a long way.
Assured is a great word. Felt it last week with him, even though we got battered. I mean, he's played 2 of the best teams in the league. Yeah, just keep him in. I mean, there'll be riots if he gets dropped this week.
Look, we have this tendency to pick 5 small forwards. I'm not too sure what that is, but the problem is right now you've got the medium-sized guy outperforming the rest of them in small forward metrics, and it's not his caper.
Yeah,
that's a concern.
Yeah, 5.5 for Ashton. There's a little positive sign there, no doubt. Flynn Young. Last week we were lamenting that he played behind the ball. What happened here?
Another guy that Ashton and him, and I'm going to defend him here, because there's 2 things that we don't want this guy doing. We don't want him defending.
Mm-hmm.
We want him being the conduit. So big tick. 4 inside 50s, getting the ball in side 50. The problem is this ball doesn't get there quick enough. And a big thing with Flynn has got to understand, like most VFL footballers, you don't get time in this game. And 3 or 4 times he got the ball in the right areas. And what really annoys me is our midfield stopped targeting him. After that first half, he got caught about 4 times. This is where you've got to test him. He's got a 6-month deal. Yes, he's been caught 4 times. Yes, he's a clown. Yes, he doesn't realize he's in VFL. Go again, though, young man. Go again. Learn. Because if you learn, you're going to be okay. But let's look at his metrics. No goals, no shots, no tackles, no crumbs, no goal assists, no marks outside 50, only 2 outside. He's a baby in AFL terms. He's a man in age.
Baby in experience.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's got to go harder, bro. Yeah. You've got to target him more. This is where I want to hang this guy out to dry. Give him another go. Give him another go. Give him another go. Because if he learns how not much time he's got, he'll actually find his natural instinct is the right spot. Because them 4 inside 50s, 3 of them were in beautiful positions that if our small forwards weren't also masquerading as back pockets, he might have been all right.
Fair. 2.8.
But very poor.
Yeah. Cooper Lord, he was the sub again.
Genuinely excited that Matt Kennedy doesn't play for this football team anymore when I say Cooper Lord. Because I would never know Matt Kennedy would be as good as he is and enjoying life, although he had a bad game this week. If Cooper Lord is anything to go by, this one's bizarre. So he comes on as the sub. You've lost Fantasia. And Blue Bagger makes a really good call. Bagger's chat, sorry, makes a good call. Flynn Young feels like you need to learn the pace of the game. So you're asking him to play the pace in the game in a player that we usually see someone like Will Haywood, who we were linked to, play. And that's quite a complex position because it's a hot zone. Everyone's going to kill you if you get the ball. And then we've moved Lord back to the wing, which he did do okay, but it's hard to get to the pace of the game when you've been sat biscuit-arsed all game watching your team stink it up. I don't get it, Terry. This felt like, okay, what's he going to do? And I worry, because I'm a firm believer, I don't like kids on the sub. This is where you do sacrifice a Docker Fantasia. They've had their moment in the sun. I don't feel like what you're learning from Cooper here. I don't feel like Cooper's getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
I didn't. He didn't. Didn't like it.
No, fair. 2.5. And then finally, we get to Charlie. You know, it wasn't until I watched the replay that I thought, okay, he definitely competed harder, but I can't help but be reminded of just Levi Casbolt type performance.
I've been wanting to see for ages, can we get rid of Harry Mackay going up the wing? Because who cares if he can mark? I don't. But Charlie delivers the ball a little bit smarter. It's that flat, low kick. It gets there quick. And if you told me at the start of the season, Pom, you will see it. The problem will be is they'll actually flip and make Charlie Curnow Harry, and the guy who will be Charlie Curnow will be Lockie Fogarty for 2 quarters. I'd be like, no, stop it, demon. But that is what I saw. And I enjoyed this in one dimension. I wish he was kicking to Harry.
Yep.
I wish he was kicking to Harry because that would turn me on. Then I realised that we're trialling TDK as a forward when Helen Keller is well aware TDK is not a good player inside 50. So that ain't going to work. And if he's kicking at Fogarty and Harris Andrews is on Fogarty, who's winning that battle? I'll give you a clue. He's got 2 first names. So Charlie Curnow, yes, he competed well. But let's be honest, key forward, man.
Yeah.
He's a key forward. And at the minute, we have no key forwards.
Yeah.
He has to play full forward. He has to. I don't care if he's out of form. Work your way through it. You're in the leadership group. Work your way through it.
That is the key. I think that's one of the key sentences there for not just him, but I think for a lot of them. They've been forced to go through this rut where everything looks like it's just burning to the ground, and they've only got themselves to blame. And they're being forced to live in it and sit with it. Like they have to own it and take accountability for it as a playing group. And maybe some of them will request trades and get out of here because it's just too much for them. But I don't know what the future holds for any of them. I've gone from 12 untradeable players to I don't care who stays and who goes. I have zero attachment to absolutely every single one of them now. And yeah, it's just a really unfortunate situation. I don't even know where Charlie sits.
I think the big thing there is something you just said. I think underlying everyone should be tradable in your mind. If God himself came down and said, we trade this player, the player that comes in wins as a flag, there should be no sense of keeping at all. Because that's where I stand. I will trade anyone, regardless of backstory or future, if you said this will lead to a flag. So with Charlie in this game, Kraken makes a great point. I was watching this game and I was like, okay, Harry Lemmy full forward. Is it going to work? I reckon Harris Andrews eats him up, spits him out, and burps. But I will say this, far superior to Tom de Koning in the forward line. Actually has forward craft, right? And that is what was lacking. If Charlie's doing this, there has to be a proper forward there. Because only a forward would understand what Charlie is doing. There was a few times TDK was in there, and I don't know if TDK was trying to sign something for a member of the cheer squad, but it felt like that's what he was doing. He was kind of like going, oh, I know that person. They come and talk. Oh, there's a woman there in a blue shirt. Oh, fucking hell, Richmond. Like, he was just wandering around. Like, it looked like he was in a fucking shopping centre at times, TDK. So I feel like this is the chance. If you play in this, I think Charlie Curnow is the man to do this role. I'd rather see him than Harry, because Harry's more awkward one-on-one. So if I'm keeping him at home, putting Charlie up the ground, Harry's a handful. If he's kicking at Fogarty, though, Banterville.
Yeah. It's Gibbons. It's literally...
Oh, it was back, Tez.
We're smashing desks. Charlie, 4.5. Goalless in 4 consecutive games. I remember when Harry went through it, and I thought, whatever, it's the yips, it happens, all the greats. But Charlie just had this ability, like he just couldn't not kick a goal. I'm in disbelief that it's gotten to him as well.
I think it was Ian Wright who told the story about Kevin Campbell, who didn't score for like 13 games, and the fans were getting into him.
Yeah,
and he talks about how George Graham berated a winger for not crossing the ball to Kevin Campbell.
Yeah.
And like berated him because he said he's out of form. We're a team. We need him to score goals. So don't you ever pass the ball to someone because you don't trust him. Your job is to keep hitting him, and his job is to get his stupid melon head on the ball and score the goal. And I was like, that is probably what you do with Charlie. I don't care Charlie's gone through a bad form. Charlie stays at full forward in this game and you kick to him and he leads. And when he fucks up, we kick to him again. And then we kick to him again. And it's going to be two things. He either gets panned in the press or he works his way through it. But the fix is him showing he's a leader.
Yep. And finally, DeConing, man. This is actually the saddest sight, the way I watch the game, of all of them. I really struggle to watch him play at the moment.
Yeah, so yeah.
Did you hear? You don't watch the game with commentary, but I'm assuming you heard the Bronx cheers when you watched.
I did. Yeah. People. Yeah, I can't believe people are complaining about it. Like, amazingly, people pay money.
Yeah.
When you go to a restaurant and your food shit, you are entitled to tell the chef his food shit.
Yes.
I would implore you to. People are allowed to be upset. If Bronx cheers are the worst thing that will ever happen to your life, Tom DeConey's going to have a very good, happy career.
Bronx cheers? Imagine having to watch the Carlton Football Club for your whole life. Fuck.
Imagine having to justify to your wife you spend 4 figures on membership. Like,
imagine paying to watch the Carlton Football Club for 30 years.
Imagine. But I mean, look, he's not forward. He's not a forward. And his Ruckcraft, it worked great in this game. It worked great last week as well. And I think the big thing with TDK is the one thing that I've really enjoyed about him in 2025 is his ability to break even. Even when he's out of form. And at the minute, it's not great. The one thing that's annoying me about Tom is people making excuses for him, going, he might be confused. That's a lot of pressure. Is it? You know what plays on my mind? How do I pay the mortgage next week? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do I buy my kids these shoes? You know, like real things, not, I might get a lot of money and move 25 minutes away from training. I can still live in the same place and still see the same guys I do it. So genuinely, there is nothing in his mind. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe that at all. For me, at the minute, it's the standard. It's the standard. And I feel like what you're seeing is why we're in this situation.
Yeah, like forget about the offer for a minute, right? I mean, I said that we spoke on whatever it was, Friday or Saturday. And I remember I kind of reflected, Bryce Gibbs asked for a trade end of 2016. It didn't happen because we wanted the extra pick. And so he ended up having to come back to the club in 2017 and play again. And everyone knew that he wanted to leave. He had his career best year in 2017. Funnily and ironically enough, we ended up getting the second first round pick or whatever it was at the end of 2017, split it, and one of those picks was used for Tom DeConing. So it is just a standard. Like, if he's going, okay, he's going. If he's staying, well, now I'm even more worried. Whatever. But compete.
This is a reflection. Charlie, this guy, Sam Doherty, Akers, this is a reflection of the culture that we actually do reward. So when Brian Cook comes out there with his smarmy face, I'm Mr. Geelong. What he's really saying when he's saying culture, he's spot on. Culture is the behaviours you reward. Yep. Carlton Football Club in the last 10 years rewards one good year with a very long-term deal, an incredible media coverage, incredible celebrity, And you will reach a level at your career because we are so unsuccessful on field, you become undroppable. And that is the problem right now. Tom de Koning is in that catchment as a young baby with 8 months of football in his 6 years in the list, being okay. Let's be honest here, being just above okay. Mm-hmm. If you looked at that, just above okay. This is why you get this positive, because what is the consequence? What is the consequence? Gary Lyons saying, and Ken Corns, I don't like people cheering when you haven't marked till the third quarter. Okay, cool. I don't like the fact that you're about to get 1.7 million and all I'm asking for is 6 good weeks. Don't think that's a big ask. I don't think that's a fucking big ask. I'd love to ask Ken Corn that. We stuck by him when he was drafted and he behaved like a gazelle. You know what I mean? We stood by him there. We cheered him. We hoped. We willed him to this level. We were up and about last year. We're up and about this year. And you know what? What's annoying is we'll probably be nice to him when he plays for St Kilda eventually. I don't think it's fucking hard to ask for 6 fucking good weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mess. 3.9. It is what it is. And that's the team.
Bruh. What we always say, look, if you get 6.5 as an average, you will be 9th. So we're looking for 6.5s in this game. And we've got 3 guys there. Not good enough, man. And it's starting to reflect in, I think the big problem is, look at your top 6, their scores. Yeah. Look at your top 6 players by financial value, because that's the one that the clubs say are winning your flags.
Yep.
That's reflecting on why that, because if the big guys aren't doing it, why the fuck would I do it?
Wow. It was a little bit better than last week, but again, the standard just keeps dropping.
Yeah, and it's quite funny. The effort indicators are probably the things that are saving them from 2s.
Really? Damn. Well, that's what happens when you pay on potential. That time for potential is now, and you've already given them all the spoils of what a champion gets. Maybe this is a blessing. Maybe we will no longer treat the individuals like they're some sort of god. Maybe that's what this year's all about.
Genuinely, I'm not concerned, because I'll say it again. Easiest off-season job ever. Like, if TDK leaves, I couldn't tell you how easy it is to fix this list, because literally all the things you've been avoiding, you have to do.
True.
It's a dream. It's a dream problem to have. There's so many worse problems to have. It's just, if they do that, or do they get distracted by a glossy big name? Do you know what I mean? And be like, oh, yay. Like, I mean, you could see it, couldn't you? You could see them do like a key forward for Harewood.
Yeah. Just back on de Koning, would you care? I mean, do you have an opinion on, should he announce it if he is going, and the club should announce it, or just let it ride out? Like de Koning, we wish Tom all the best. He, we know that he won't be with us at the, just to maybe free his mind up, and therefore, would you keep playing him?
I couldn't give a fuck if he says it publicly or not. I think you pick your team not on the future. You pick your team on what we know now. Is TDK versus Pitternet putting in? Absolutely not. So you've got to make a standard. So the reason that we are here now, is because of this acceptability standard. So the difference between like Lockie Henderson and, say, Bryce Gibbs is what you said. Bryce Gibbs was vomiting for the club, working his ass off, probably potentially had his best 6 months.
For sure.
Lockie Henderson was like, feet up, can't wait to go to Iron Apple, baby. Get me up to Geelong. And so, but you've got to have that standard, Terry. So is he good enough? Get rid of him. Nothing to do with his contract.
Yeah.
he shouldn't be in the team on the output.
All right, let's power through these last final bits here. The main riser from last week got a 6.1. Okay. Damn.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a real good sign. The player of the game was Patrick Cripps. Welcome back to the top, skipper. And
not great as well when you've got 7.
Yeah, and the 1%er rewarder of the week.
The lowest winning 1%er.
The lowest 1%ers of the year. There you go. Let's look at some real footballers, eh? Tell me why you pointed out these guys, starting with Dunkley. What did you find here? Look at the pressure axe, man.
So what I wanted to show you here is I want you to look at his tackle numbers, 13. So you don't have to play 100 defensive players, right? And spread that midfield defensive load. You know what you do? You just play one. Just play one defensive-minded player. And you can see here, this guy has destroyed Carlton by playing 50-50 Cripps and Hewitt in that role. I guarantee you right now, Hewitt and Cripps, if they just did that once, and we've seen it, Cripps historically has done it, Hewitt has done it as well, had this amount of defensive numbers, just doing it solo. You don't need 2. So this is a huge, huge little thing here. And I thought what Dunkley did was he was fantastic. I think he really was a big part of the problem, that he made sure the short outlet was always taken away, hence why Carlton only handballed the 2 inside midfielders. The issue of playing 3 balls last year, Kennedy, Hewitt and Cripps, is doubled when it's 2. It's really obvious now.
Yeah. That's an 8 for Dunkley. Darcy Wilmot, my goodness.
Yeah, so what you saw here is a team that plays 3 bigger than the average Bear players down the back. And what an interceptor does when he does that role. And look at Darcy, absolutely phenomenal. The pressure acts through the roof, win percentages one-on-one through the roof, the tackles. But then look at these marks, these intercepts, attacking the thing. And this is the difference here, whether it's a halfback or an interceptor. So let's compare him to Mitch McGovern, who got the easiest defensive role of Carlton Football Club. When he gets the ball, it hurts you. You notice Darcy Wilmot. You don't want to go shallow to Darcy Wilmot. If you do, lights out. And that's what happened this week. So that is what something Carlton have got to do. Stop playing 3 players playing the same role. Just pick one. And he's either good enough or he's not. Carlton like to spread the load way too much. Play one player, double your expectation of him. Don't just lower your expectations and spread it over 3. Darcy, young kid, has that great responsibility, thrives.
Yeah. Got an 8 for his game. Really grew into it. And then finally, this kid's had the breakout year, Logan Morris.
Yeah, so interesting. His numbers aren't astronomical, but it's easy. It's easy when you're trusted, and usually gets the second hardest defender, and he works really hard up the ground. And one thing I want you to notice is, look, as the player that Carlton traditionally play up the wing, they don't. He just moves centrally. He's that hit-up target. He's working in that horrible space. And look, he did it immaculately, works really hard, brings the ball to ground, works in that awkward place to be hit up, and a real strong performance from Logan.
7.2 for the young man. That's us, mate.
The road is long.
And that's us.
Is it bad? Look, it's bad now. But
it's bad now. We've got to eat the shit sandwich. You said something earlier, which it's stuck with me around like the fans and considering the hope that was there at the start of the year and how quickly we've had to accept collectively where it is with so much more of the season to go. Like, I think we've done okay.
What, us personally?
Carlton fans in general.
Yeah. John, Darcy Wilmot was the second player.
Yeah.
As the great villain in the 1980s movie said, speak when spoken to.
I'm pretty sure it's just a real... Well, I mean, this whole experience of supporting the club has been a test of resilience and loyalty and all of these buzzwords. But man, it's really going to be tested. And it is being tested in the final 8 games of the year. With two down, 6 to go. Wait, is it 6 to go or is it 5 to go? It's 6 to go.
6 weeks, mate.
Fuck. Are we going to win a game?
I've got hairy balls, mate, not crystal. Look, I'll live in hope, but I mean, I think the big thing is we've got a great opportunity in 6 weeks to really see what the list is doing.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot to fix, not much time. So I'm hoping to see 6 to 8 weeks of really looking at this list, seeing if we've got any hidden gems there. Where is the talent at? If I was Graham Wright, I would be demanding that now, whether the powers that be keep Voss, sack him, whatever. I would be saying, can we literally see where they are? Now, let's see.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for us, just so we can hopefully, you never know, look, Lucas Camporelli may be a godsend, and suddenly you're like, okay, cool. That's one less thing to recruit. Billy Wilson, Harry Charleston, giving Cowan the full-time Sard role. Suddenly Cowan might be like, you know what, I'm way better than Adam Sard. And that's a huge win then, because suddenly you can start building a half-back line that isn't there to shag sheep. It's there to fucking kill people.
Well, you know what? Let's enjoy these moments while we have them, because the off season will be here, and we'll enjoy that too. Pommy, pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for your hard work as always. Chat, thanks for watching. I wouldn't begrudge you if you stopped watching this show, but I love that you're all here still. And obviously, Horizon Finance Group, sponsor of the show. If you have any finance needs, if you've got something on the horizon that you're looking for, get in touch with Nick. Speak to Nick. Let him know if you have come from this show or this channel. Let him know where you've come from so he can look after you even more. And yeah, we will take a little intermission, come back at 7 p.m. and unpack it all again. Bye, everyone. Go Blues.
Go Blues.